The time is now 5:52 on this Tuesday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
One person is dead after a crash in Sawyer County. 26-year-old Jenny Del Real of Lac du Flambeau died after her car went off the road. According to the Sawyer County Sheriff's Office, it happened Friday morning on County Highway B in the town of Winter. We're told an SUV went off the road while trying to navigate a curve, went into the ditch and rolled into a tree. Del Real was pronounced dead at the scene. The crash remains under investigation.
Now, few people are vaping and using tobacco, according to a new report by the Wisconsin Department of Health. Data collected shows a decline from 13.6% in 2023 to just under 12% in 2024. Wisconsin health leaders credit public awareness campaigns and community action as reasons for the downward trend. State leaders also point to a 2019 change in federal law that raised the legal tobacco sales age from 18 to 21. However, Wisconsin remains one of only 8 states that has not changed its state law to match the federal law, which health leaders say has caused a lot of confusion and enforcement challenges.
Duluth is taking a kinder, gentler approach to homeowners who violate city ordinance. The city announced a new initiative called the Clean Streets, Strong Communities Courtesy Notice Program. When a resident violates a city ordinance like littering or nuisance issues, they'll be delivered a door hanger that outlines the concern and offers 14 days to resolve it. Previously, such issues would have resulted with a citation or inspection. City leaders say the program puts communication and compassion first while maintaining current standards.
Now, across the bridge in Wisconsin, the governor kicked off Earth Week by visiting Bayfield on Monday. Governor Tony Evers took a tour yesterday of the Les Voit State Fish Hatchery. They raise different fish to stock Lake Superior and other lakes throughout the state. Now, in his upcoming budget proposal, Governor Evers included more than $388,000 to support of state-owned hatcheries. Plus, he proposed $2 million toward tribal gaming revenues to create programs that would provide tribal nations with grants for tribal-owned fish hatcheries.
Northeast Minnesota's economy benefits greatly from Canadian tourists, but amid turmoil over tariffs, our neighbors to the north aren't visiting much this year. That was the focus of Senator Amy Klobuchar's visit to Two Harbors on Monday. The Democrat touted the city's tourism economy. 76% of Lake County's retail and restaurant income last year was from tourism. So far this year, they have not had any international traffic. Senator Klobuchar says tourism in places like Two Harbors is suffering as a result of tariffs on Canada. On Monday, Two Harbors city leaders shared plans to better attract tourism, including revitalization of the Agate Bay waterfront.